Charmaine, you have an interest in, and I don't mean this in any way connected to your private life, but you have an interest in little furry things, correct?
That's correct.
Now, what specifically am I referring to?
I have pets and they're called sugar gliders.
Now, I have to tell you, I had never heard of sugar gliders, and so naturally my clerk did some research and there they are. And they are charming little pets, and I'm always worried about people taking on exotic pets without really doing reasonable amounts of research, and you certainly had. Can you tell me something about these animals?
They're nocturnal, they're marsupials, they are very specialist pets. It's not ideal for someone just to go out and get them.
Thank you for saying that, exactly. When you say they're marsupials, they're not rodents. No. And the interesting thing about these particular creatures is that, a bit like little ducklings, yes, or husbands, they bond, and once they bond, they become terribly needy.
Absolutely. They live in colonies, so they have to be more than 2 or more.
Understand. Well, 2 people is not a colony. Well, understood. Yeah. Let's have a look at the video of them. They're very, very sweet.
It's like Lady and the Tramp, when they had the spaghetti.
Oh, yes, it really is that they're sharing a little worm, aren't they?
Yes.
Oh, it's very, very sweet. Now, the thing is, when they're born, as I understand it, they bond with their human owners as well.
That's correct.
And you've had these 2 creatures called?
Pocket and Demi.
Pocket and Demi. Demi after Moore or Lovato?
Demerara Sugar.
After Demerara Sugar?
Yes. Well, they're sugar gliders.
I see, they're sugar gliders. Now, the thing is, in the past, 2 of you have been very good friends for a number of years. How long have you been friends, Sarah?
5 years.
And the subject of this case, Charmaine, is that you love these little creatures, correct?
Absolutely.
I understand. You haven't had them for 5 minutes. You've certainly had one for a shorter period of time, but how long had you had Pocket for?
10 years.
How long do they live in captivity?
They can live up to 15 years.
You know, he was not a young man, and you bonded with him. I can see the way that you've looked after him, and you've taken the greatest of care. You wouldn't leave these animals, your pets, with just anyone, right?
Absolutely.
And in the past, it's fair to say, Sarah, you had been responsible for looking after them with no problems.
I have indeed.
Now, did you have any difficulty whatsoever? Did you walk around with them in your pocket, that sort of thing?
No, I never walked around with them. I would just change the water bottles, fill them, rinse them out, fill them up with fresh water, and just put food in their 2 little containers. Oftentimes, they don't both come out.
Now, you were off to do a gig, correct? Where was the gig?
In Budapest.
In Budapest. Were you going to be doing it in English? Were you going to be doing it in Hungarian?
It was English-speaking comedy in Budapest.
That's just funny in of itself, I suppose. Now, what happened next to the sugar gliders, please?
Well, I came back from Budapest, and whenever I come home from being away, I always check on them, regardless of what time of day it is, to make sure they're OK.
Explain to me what happened, madam. You got back?
I got back, and, as always, I just drop my luggage and go straight to the cage and check that they're both OK and say hello to them, because I miss them. They're my babies. As I say, I don't have kids, they're my babies. And I go open the cage, open the little sleeping compartment up, and noticed that there was only one. And you know, it's a big cage, but there's not that much place to hide, except in their little sleeping box. And I looked under the little blankets, and Pocket wasn't there. And he wasn't in the cage at all. Now, they are known, if they do escape, they can go and hide in your shoes or your clothes or whatever. And I searched around the house.
How long did you search for him?
Well, because it was during the day, I didn't think that he was going to be, you know, jumping around. He would be sleeping somewhere. So I had a little nosy around, and I couldn't find him. And then
it's OK.
I waited till the evening, and I was just like, put some food out, and he wasn't there.
It's OK.
And then I just thought, well, you know, maybe he's scared. He'll come out later on. And after the next morning, he still hadn't come back. And I just thought, he's gone.
I have to ask you, after 10 years, it's not just you that's affected, but Demi's there on
She's on her own now.
What did that do to you?
Well, it broke my heart, because I've had him for so long, and it's just like being, you know, part of your life has just sort of vanished overnight. And to this day, I keep thinking he's going to come out of a wardrobe somewhere and go, da-da! But obviously that hasn't happened.
Now, Sarah, clearly you're the last person responsible for Pocket. In law, burden shifts to you to explain what happened. What happened?
To be frank, I didn't know that Pocket was missing, and I wasn't aware that I'd left the cage open, if I had left the cage open, because there is a little compartment where you put the food in and a little flap. Perhaps I didn't push it down far enough, but the first I heard of Pocket missing was when Charmaine called me.
Is this the flap we're talking about?
Yeah.
Yes, that's the little flap, the one on the left.
Was when Charmaine called you to say he'd gone?
Correct. And, you know, I didn't know because they don't always come out. When I feed them, I don't play with them. I just change the water and change the food.
Understand.
And I wasn't aware that I'd left it ajar, but the window was open.
Just check, just 1 second. Madam, Charmaine, it's very important. When you got back and you inspected the cage, do you see that open bit? Was that open from memory?
To be truthfully honest, I don't remember it being that far open. I just took that for evidence.
Is there any way that those animals, after 10 years, could have escaped unless that was open?
Unless that was slightly ajar, there's no way they could have got out.
Don't be stupid. Stay and watch the best Judge Rinder moments. And I'm talking. Understood? Don't be a moron. Subscribe to Judge Rinder YouTube channel. Right now. That's an order.